have just opened Internet Explorer. You see here my standard startup page. I type in the IP address of the flow meter. Here it already comes up, and I open the diagnostics. You get a login screen. There is 5 different levels of login. So I'm going to log in as a standard user. And diagnostics opens. You see here the overall screen of chronic care. First thing you see is a green V, indicating the overall health of the meter. This meter is running fine at this moment in time. You see some basic data, such as the flow rate in the meter, the velocity, flow velocity in the meter, the speed of sound of the gas in the meter, in this case atmospheric air, and the signal acceptance of the different acoustic paths. In case pressure and temperature transmitters are connected, you see a live reading here. For this setup that's in our FAT room, we just plugged in a fixed value for pressure and temperature, since we have no transmitters connected. A second thing you see is the overall status of the meter here. The meter is not running only okay at this moment, but it has been running okay over the past 2 hours. Everything has been in green over the past 2 hours. In the field you will probably take a longer period, maybe a couple of days or even weeks. For this demo we took the last 2 hours. If we want to change the screen, for example, we want to go from overall status to status per path, simply click on the pull down menu, select status per path, and there we go. Here's the statuses per path. Also the timing here can easily be changed. Go to options, click on settings. The settings menu open. Here we can change, for example, the unit info. We can go from metric to imperial if you want to. We can select all these values, up to the customer, very easy. If we wanted to change the display information, go from the last 2 hours to the last hour. Save the data to the meter. And you see the overall status has now changed to the last hour. If we want to go further, we could even zoom in. We can enlarge this screen, and we could, by simply clicking on the time bar, zoom into a certain period in time. We see all the details, and you can even shift this left and right to see exactly the detail you want to see. Okay, we go back to normal mode again. Other things we see here is an alarm lock. In case the meter has an alarm, data of 30 seconds before, all data during and 30 seconds after the alarm will be locked in a seconds interval, so you can exactly see the details back. There's an audit log where you can see all the changes made to the meter. There's a screen where we show general information about the meter. So we see this meter is from Chrono Oil and Gas. It runs in direct at the FAT room on air. It's a 4-inch 300-pound meter with this serial number. Dates when it was installed. We can see the volumes, the total inside the meter. And last, we can see an overview of the meter. This meter is running okay, but there is some flow profile distortion issues. As you saw in the picture, this meter is running on atmospheric air. There is no inlet and outlet. So once in a while, we might see the flow profile is slightly distorted. This is the start screen. Next screen we go to is the advanced mode, where we look a bit more in detail what's happening inside the meter. We're now in the advanced screen of chronic care. As you can see, the screen on the left and the screen on the right have not changed. This meter is still okay, still the green V. And here you see why there is a green V. If you look here, the overall status of the meter is okay. You can also see here the status of all the individual paths. Path 1 to 6 are okay. And if you zoom down a little bit deeper, you can see the status per parameter. For example, the speed of sound in path 3 is okay at this moment in time. This is a nice feature, however, it's still a form of an advanced version of condition-based monitoring, because it would tell you if something is wrong, but it will not tell you what is wrong in the meter. Here we come to the full expert system, the status details. This will tell you what is wrong inside the meter. You see here different numbers. As long as these numbers are below 33, the meter is okay. There is no reason to worry. Between 33 and 66, we give a warning. There could be light contamination in a meter, for example. The meter is still within custody transfer, but some long-term attention is required. If values are higher than 66, we give a real alarm. This means strong contamination, more than 2 parts failed, the meter is outside of custody transfer accuracy, and immediate action is required. One thing you see here, that the flow profile distortion is quite high, it's at 26. It's just below 33. There is no reason for warning. You saw the setup, the meter is running atmospheric air, no inlet and outlet. So the flow profile isn't optimal. Once in a while it slightly goes up and we see a flow profile warning. Again, here you see the meter at this moment is running okay. Last thing you see on this page is the graph here. It shows velocity per path, but we could change this again by a click of the mouse into anything we would like to see. The lights you see here are basically a summary of the expert screen. So I'll now go to the expert screen. And in the expert screen you see the lowest level of evaluations we do. All individual checks that we do are shown here and are given a value. You see, for example, here on velocity there is some warnings and an error on the flow profile velocity. That does not mean the overall health of the meter is not good, but it means on the lowest level we see some warnings. We combine those into the advanced screen and from there we come to an overall health of the meter. We're now under the graphics header and we have here the real-time historical and status screen. We're in the real-time screen at this moment. And here you can see all the live readings of the meter. You see, for example, in the graph here, the gains per path. You see that a few gains are high. That's paths 3, 5 and 6. 3 and 6 are high because of the low pressure in the meter. The meter runs at atmospheric air, so the longest paths, 3 and 6, will have slightly high gain. Path 5 just went to green again. A little bit high, nothing to worry. It has to do with the atmospheric conditions under which this meter runs. Other items we see are signal acceptance, speed of sound, flow velocity in the meter. You see that in every case path 6 has a lighter color. The reason is that path 6 is not used for flow measurement. It's only used for diagnostics, so we gave it a lighter color. We see here the flow profile, the signal acceptance, flow velocity per path and overall flow rate. As with the other screens, all those screens are user modifiable. We can, for example, if we take signal acceptance, enlarge the screen and we can change the form of the graph. We could go for a horizontal bar graph. Alternatively, we could go for a line graph, or we could, for example, go for a spider diagram, which you see here. Any of the screens you just saw are just as fully user modifiable. So all the graphs can be changed pretty much to whatever the user wants to see. All the graphs you see here are simply user modifiable. Just click on them, you can see all the different graphs. There's 2 more tabs here. Historical, that allows you to download historical data. I will not go into that. Last one I want to show is the status bar here. Just clicked on status. I just clicked on status and here you see the historical data starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, from this 8 o'clock this morning till 11:10 today. Overall status of the meter, status per path, we have flow profile distortions and bottom fouling. Pretty much everything is in the green. You see we have some flow profile issues once in a while. Again, there is no inlet sections on this meter, it's just a fan bolted directly to the meter running on atmospheric air. All these graphs can be changed again. For example, we look at bottom fouling here, but we could change that to ultrasonic noise just by a click of the mouse.